Hey everyone, Tyler here from Tyler Dice Golf, and this video is going to be on how to hit long irons. Before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. If you are seeing this video, there's usually a notification that pops up saying, hey, do you want to get notified for when I do these Facebook Live videos? If you hit yes, you'll get a notification when I start these videos. It won't automatically pop up or anything like that, but you'll just get a little notification that comes through on your phone that tells you when I'm doing them. So that way, if you want to catch them live and ask any questions, you can. And if I see the questions live, I will answer them live. So yeah. So so before we get started, one last thing. If you do have any questions, go ahead and ask them. They don't have to be on topic. So if you have a question, ask it. I'll answer it if it's about golf. And so yeah, let's get started. This is going to be on how to hit long irons, okay? So long irons can be tricky, and so we're going to hit some long irons. I've already gotten a little loose here. I got a 4-iron. It's a 4-iron. You got a 4-iron out. And so hitting your long irons can be incredibly difficult because there isn't a massive margin of error like there is with your short and mid irons, okay? Things get magnified when you are hitting long irons. The same like face closure and swing path that produces a pretty straight shot with like an 8-iron or 9-iron is going to give you a nice draw or a bigger hook with a 4-iron. So you need to make sure that you're keeping things pretty square, and you got to be able to take into account that your dispersions are going to be greater because the golf ball is going farther. So if you think of it like a triangle, right? The farther you hit it, the greater your dispersion is going to get, okay? And so what we're doing is we're trying to narrow up the triangle, and so that the farther you hit it, the dispersion isn't as great. So how do we do that? How do we narrow up that triangle, right? Well, first things first, and I say this a lot, and it's because it's really, really important, you need to make sure your fundamentals are consistent. Most importantly, ball position, alignment, and stance. And then fourth would be, I would say, posture, and then your grip. Those are your 5 fundamentals, but make sure that those fundamentals are where they're supposed to be for you to perform at a high level. So for someone like me, I know the ins and outs of my golf swing pretty well. You know, I know that there's things that I need to do to hit a 4-iron the way that I want to hit it, right? And so we set up to the shot, and we get ready, get loose, and unleash it, right? We hit the ball, right? So we hit pretty good. A little bit of a pull, no big deal, right? But we know that. We know that going into this. We'll see that we hit it 10 yards left, so 30 feet. Went 225 in the air. Club speed was 97 miles an hour. Spin rate 33, almost 3,400. And it got about 84 feet in the air. So what's that? That's 84 feet. Is that 27 yards? So not bad, right? So what goes into hitting a shot like that? Like what goes into that? And then how do I say, all right, well, I want to hit the next shot straight. What did I do in that shot to make it go left? First things first, we look at the path and we'll look at club face, right? So path was very neutral. Club face was 1.6 degrees closed. 1.6 degrees closed. So odds are my alignment was probably a little too far to the left, and that 1.6 degrees closed caused it to turn over and draw a little bit. But it's scary how a little bit of a closed club face can produce a shot that goes 30 feet left. That's how much of a fine line we're running here when we're hitting long irons, okay? There's not a huge margin of error. So we'll set up, let's hit another one. And I'll try and hit this one a little bit more to the right. Straighten it out some. And so, whereas my path was a little bit more to the right on that one, club face was still closed. It was less closed to my target versus the first one, actually, but still went the exact same amount of distance to the left. Everything else about the shot was pretty much the exact same. Now I'll look at the data. Yeah, pretty much the exact same. So what we're finding out here is club face, when we're getting to the longer clubs, your club face at impact is having a massive amount of control over your ball flight as it flies through the air. So making sure that we square up the face at impact, which is, which again, your fundamentals play a huge role in that. Huge role is paramount, okay? We need to be able to square that club face up at impact. So we'll hit one more. And again, we'll try and square this club face up. Did a really good job squaring it up there. So 227 in the air. Club path was neutral. Club face was 1 degree open, which gave us a shot that went 8 yards to the right. So it's crazy, right? 1 degree closed, 1.5 degrees closed versus 1.5 degrees open is a dispersion of 17 yards. Left to right. 17 yards. That's 54 feet. 54 feet is 1 degree, 1.5 degrees one way, and 1.5 degrees the other way. 54 feet. Okay? So hitting long irons is very, very difficult. Okay? And so even though you're doing a lot of things right, like I think we can all agree that I'm doing a lot of things right here, but none of those shots are going exactly where I want them to go. And it's because hitting long irons is really difficult. And that's where hybrids can help you out a lot more. Now this is not a 4-iron replacement hybrid, okay? This is going to be something that replaces like a 5-wood in my bag. But the premise is still there, okay? So let me just make a slight adjustment with the screen. Clear that data off. And so I'm going to hit a shot, and we'll see how this data does. Grab that golf ball. And so we saw that one, right? And I pulled that one pretty good bit to the left. Let's do one more, and I'll do my darndest to not pull it left. So I didn't pull it left. There we go. Hit straight. But you'll notice, so that one went pretty straight, right? And so if you look at that one, the key things to look at here are your path and your path, right? So they cancel out to be pretty even, but what you're seeing is that even though they're pretty even, with long irons, the tendency is still going to want the golf ball to curve more in relation to the face with a long iron versus a hybrid. So let's hit another one. Get some more data up there. So you see a baby fade there. There you go. So here is that the hybrid is allowing you to have a slightly bigger margin of error with your golf swing to produce better, more consistent shots for you. And again, this is a 19. I have this set at 19.5 degrees. My 4-iron is I think it's 22 degrees. So it's a stronger 4-iron, more like a 3-iron, slightly weak 3-iron. But this is obviously more loft. If you get something that's like 22, 23 degrees that would replace a 4-iron, again, you're going to have a greater margin of error for you moving forward. Just because it's very, very challenging to hit long irons. So that's that part of that. We'll move back here, move back to the long irons a little bit. And again, I started off saying fundamentals are really, really important. You need to have consistent fundamentals to hit the ball the way you want to hit it. Let me grab the golf ball. I need to get a ledge right up here to stop the golf balls from rolling back. They don't roll off when you hit wedge shots and stuff. When you start getting the longer irons, hybrids and woods, I like to bounce back. But yeah, so your fundamentals are really, really important. What else is really important with your long irons? I'm gonna be honest with you. It's your hips. Your hips are really important, and a lot of people struggle with the release of their hips because they don't have the right range of motion to hit the shots, to swing the right way, to generate the right ball mechanic or swing mechanics to hit the golf ball the way it needs to be hit with a long iron. Because like I said, long irons are incredibly difficult to hit, and so if you're not doing all the right things, you're going to struggle, which is why I mentioned hybrids earlier. I wish I had some more hybrids to hit from you, but I don't have anything that fits me here to show off, or to showcase, I should say. But yeah, so your hips are really, really important. If your hips don't like to rotate, right, don't like to rotate, and don't like to release through the shot, and they're getting a lot, very static, and they don't release through the shot, what's going to happen is you're going to hit a lot of shots fat, okay? You're going to hit a lot of shots fat. You're going to hit a lot of shots thin. You're going to hit a lot of shots offline because you're going to have a lot of trouble squaring up that club face, because your club face relies on your hips, okay? That release helps time up your club face at impact. And so if you don't have the right range of motion, you're going to struggle as clubs get longer, okay? So here's a little trick. Here's a little hack to help you get away with that. When you set up to the golf ball, a lot of people like to flare out their toes a little bit. What I like to do with my longer clubs, and I tell people to do, is I like to square up the right leg a little bit more. You don't have to square it up completely, but just go square it up a little bit more. And I like to flare out this left leg a lot more, and sometimes even drop it back a little bit. And so by flaring it out, it's going to allow my hips to release a lot easier into the shot. And so what happens is I'm able to release into the shot more, and I'm able to hit the 4-iron, the long irons, the appropriate way, the way that needs to be hit to hit the shots correctly. So, you set up to the shot, and you flare that left foot out a little bit more, and we do everything else the same. And we like to pull it. I don't know why I'm pulling it in here today. I sure am pulling it. That's just going right across it with the club face. Let's try it one more time. I got this. There we go. It's a nice straight shot, right? Here goes the golf ball again. And that's what's going to help you hit the ball better with your long irons, okay? So it's all about your fundamentals, and it's about allowing your hips give them enough room to rotate, okay? And use that little hack I taught you. Flare out that left foot a little bit more, or I should say lead foot. So if you're a left-handed player, this is your lead foot, so flare that out. But you're a right-handed player, flare out this one. And that's going to help you, rotate those hips a little bit more through the golf ball so you can hit these long irons a little bit better. But again, hybrids are the better way to go in most cases. We want to make sure when you get hybrids that you are getting either hybrids that are replacing woods or replacing irons, okay? Because there's a difference. And they require a different mentality to hit them, okay? Different swing to hit them. If you're replacing woods, it's a little bit different swing than when you're hitting irons, okay? So that's it. That's all I got for you on this one. Let's check some questions. Any questions came through, I'd be happy to answer them. Okay, no questions today, no big deal. So that's how to hit long irons. That's how to improve hitting long irons, right? So stick to the fundamentals and flare out that lead foot to help get those hips a little bit more activated so you can release into the ball, time up that club face, and hit shots nice and solid and the appropriate distance, okay? So thanks for tuning in. Appreciate y'all being here. And again, if you're watching this video later, you have a question, just go ahead and ask it. I will check these to see if any questions come through. So if you have a question, ask it. I'll check it and answer it for you later. Or if I don't answer it for you, I'll tell you I'll do another Facebook Live or another video on that specific video. All right, so thanks for watching. We'll see you later.